Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Developing the Leader Within podcast. I'm Enrique, and today I am on my second leg of a five-stop international tour. The month of July is my birth month, and I love to travel, so I want to go abroad. And I bring to you today Xhoni Mimillari. He is all coming to us all the way from Italy. Now, hey, folks, you go to Italy for vacation and all the sights and stuff. I'm bringing it to you. So, Johnny, thank you so much for sharing this platform with me today. I want to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll go into the subject of today, which is leadership and revenue strategy. But welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Appreciate it. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's like, so a lot of times we try to figure out what this whole revenue thing is. And as leaders, some of us don't have no idea what
Yeah.
it is and how it impacts companies. And today I want to educate folks on being, revenue strategy minded, because if they're not, they can miss a lot of cues that will help their company,
Yeah.
and at times it'll be very detrimental to the company if they don't know about it. So let's go a little bit about your background and what you're doing, and then we'll get into the subject matter.
Sure, brother. Let's do it. So I come from a sales background, and funny enough, when you say revenue, a lot had to do there with revenue. When I got hired in this huge company, I had to learn like how do I bring in clients, how do I bring in revenue, and how do I pick up the phone to make it happen. And I'm going to tell you, Enrique, it was a hard one. So when I got into that job and that industry, I had to learn. Had to learn how to do that. So that transition was really tough for me, but I think it prepared me for what it is that I do today because it's about revenue. And I don't talk about that in my content because I'm about client successes, I'm about growing a business and all this stuff. Revenue, I don't touch on it much because it's not like the main drive for me, but it's about revenue. And I feel like from the background that I come, the thing that it's has the greatest impact in your revenue, it's your ability to build a pipeline, right? Your ability to build a pipeline that is so strong, so reliable, that you have so many people talking to, so many people considering to work with you, that it's amazing. And that's where you can predict the revenue. And I feel like that's the main challenge with many business owners. How can I predict that I'm going to be making that much? You don't. You build a pipeline that will do it for you, right? And that's something that many people don't think about. They think they expect it to come, but their effort doesn't go in building a pipeline, in building such a strong, you can call it audience, but having a foundation in here of people that you build a relationship with, that they already know you, they know your product, they know what value you can bring into their lives. So I feel like that has a great impact with revenue. So I had to learn to do that. And when I transitioned into doing coaching, then of course, I already had that skill, that discipline, which I feel is helping me a lot to make this transition. So yeah. Mm.
You mentioned a pipeline, and a lot of people don't know what pipeline is. Some people, obviously, in sales and marketing, they understand pipeline. But for those
Yeah.
that are novice out there trying to figure this whole revenue strategy, what is a pipeline?
So in this context, a pipeline I simply mean a list of prospects who know who you are, they're familiar with your product. And then of course, there are people who are more familiar with it and they better know what it is that you offer. By pipeline, I mean that having a list of prospects who know what you can offer to their lives. And of course, a pipeline can also mean a list of prospects that you need to contact and get in touch with who might be ideal clients. So these can be called people who don't even know who you are. This can be people who are familiar with your product. And this can be even people who know everything about your product, how good it is, how it can solve the problem. They just are in the fence of making a decision. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because a lot of times we don't view acquaintances and friends as potential pipeline
Mhm.
candidates, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of times they could come from there. But
Mm.
what you're mentioning just brings to my head a vision of me out there networking and getting to know people and talking about my product so that people can get familiar with what it is.
Mm.
And I see a lot of people push a lot of content, i.e., on LinkedIn. right? They
Yeah.
push a lot of content out. I'm one of them, right? I push a
Mm.
lot of things out, a lot of educational things on leadership, uh, but never capitalize or never reach out to those that engage. And so you're never able to build anything if you're just putting stuff out there. So, from your expert opinion on this particular topic, uh,
Yeah.
how far can I get if I don't, start reaching out and I'm just putting stuff out there?
I think that's a challenge with many. The people they put all this content and they underestimate actually the most important part, because if this content is attracting people to you, it's bringing the likes and the comments. And these people, there might be ideal clients in there. If you forget that activity, then you're leaving potential clients on the table, people who you could have helped, right? So how do you make the time for it might be the question. You make it a priority. The reason you're not finding time for it is because it's not a priority, right? So once you make it a priority to reach out to potential clients, another challenge, Enrique, it's like, who do I reach out? How do I find these people? And that depends, of course, in the industry. But if you're on LinkedIn, your ideal clients are likely here. If you're a leader, if you're somebody who helps people with content, probably, maybe you help people with leadership, they're hanging out in here. The question is where are they hanging out? Where are they? Right? Now, asking that question, there are many ways to find these people. So you've got to educate yourself on how do I find them. There are different ways. Number one is hashtags. Just to educate you guys. Search for hashtags that your ideal clients will use. For example, I help leadership coaches. Or I help coaches in general, but my ideal clients are leadership coaches. These people are likely going to use the hashtag leadership coach. Easy to find, right? So look for those ways. Another way is the search on LinkedIn, but I'm going a little bit off topic here. But what I mean by that is have a way to easily find these people, because once there is a strategy to easily find them, reaching out to folks becomes easier, right? Because now you have somebody, you have a list of people. Once you have that, now make it a priority. And I feel like, Enrique, what has been a game changer is to focus first thing in the morning. Like in the morning is where you have most of the energy, most of the attention to put into something like this. And don't put your effort on this like in the afternoon. In the afternoon, you've already made so many decisions, and we only have so much energy to make a specific, like we cannot make 1,000 decisions, and then after 1,000 decisions, we're still fresh. You're not going to be mentally, you're not. So focus your time and attention first thing in the morning. And I try to do it myself in the morning because I feel like it takes the most energy, because the way I reach out to people, it's very personalized, and I don't reach out to anybody and anybody. If I reach out to somebody, I really see the potential I can help them from what I see, and I do my research. So I don't reach out to anybody and anybody. So my approach is really personalized. It's really from a place of I really feel confident I can help you, and then I just focus on that first thing in the morning. So make it easy to find with your clients, make it a priority, put your time and energy in the morning on it, and stay consistent. The first week will be the hardest. The second will be the hardest. After the month, after you build the habit, it becomes fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important to realize. And you mentioned a very strong word, which is priority,
Yeah.
right? If things are not priority, they won't take a seat in your whole daily activity, right?
Yeah.
So it won't produce anything if you're not prioritizing this. Uh,
Mm.
I tell you from the perspective of a leadership coach that I loved your personalized outreach, and when you just said this, folks, I'm a witness to Johnny's comment there, because when I first met him over a year ago, his approach to me was very personalized, which was the very first time, and I tell you, it was the very first time I saw anyone reach out to me via a video message, and I was so impressed by that that I have adopted that, and I don't do it with everybody, so not everybody has received that.
Yeah.
But when I feel driven or drawn to
Mm.
that, it is with people that I know that I would like to either help or uh, assist in one way or another, whether
Yeah.
it's with leadership or not. But so you set the trend there for me. So I thank you for that. But for those listening,
Yeah.
that personalized touch is so important
Mm,
when you're trying to drive a revenue strategy into play or whatever it is that you're doing,
yeah.
because people do business with people, right? So,
Mm.
so I thank you for that.
Funny
Now,
enough, Enrique, by the way, I had a call with a potential client about a week ago. And she got on a call with me. She said, Johnny, you sent me a video DM about 2 years and a half ago on LinkedIn. We are likely going to work together. Of course, she's thinking about it. It's not very cheap what I offer. But she was like, nobody's ever done that. And since then, I still remember that approach. I was personalized. I watched that video. I still watch it before. I watched it before getting on a call with you. I'm like, it's amazing. So just to prove that personalization, taking the time to check somebody out, I hate that approach of reaching out to anybody and anybody. Like as a coach, I don't want to work with everybody and everybody. If I get a good feeling about somebody, that's who I want to work with. And I say no to people who I don't get a good vibe or I don't feel confident I can help them or they don't have a good attitude. I'm like, there are thousands of people who I can help. I don't want to work with the wrong ones, right? Hmm.
no, and that's important. And you bring up a good topic to talk about here, because we're talking
Yeah.
about revenue, strategy. And a
Hmm.
lot of times, because people are chasing money, they want to say yes, and they want to say
Yeah.
yes, and they want to say yes. But you just bring up the topic of no, right? In a
Hmm.
revenue strategy, there has to be a place for no,
That's
because if you continuously say yes to the wrong client,
yeah.
you might as well have went back and said no, right? So the importance of no in a revenue strategy. Let's talk about that for a little while.
Now, here's the thing about that. People fail to see the long-term consequence of getting somebody as a client who it's not a good fit. The short term is, of course, the income, the revenue, but they fail to see the long term. The long term is they're not going to get results. They're going to be disappointed with your program. That is going to impact your confidence, and that is going to show up in the next calls you're going to have with other potential clients. It's going to cost you much more than the price you're going to get from getting that one client. But people fail to see that. And it's kind of very common. So people fail to see that long-term and short-term consequence of an action. I feel like when you get to choose with the right clients and you say no to the wrong ones, short-term, of course, you might think that I'm leaving money on the table because I'm saying no to some clients. Long-term, you're saying yes to so much more profit because you're working with people who you can help. And if they get results, that it's going to expand big time and that it's going to bring new clients to you. So understanding the long-term consequence of an action and seeing the long-term effect of, all right, if I do this now, okay, forget about what happens now if I do it. What will happen as a result of, 1 month from now, 2 months from now, 1 year from now, and choose the long-term effect. If the long-term effect is better and brings results, even now it's not that ideal and it's not that great, go over the long term. I feel that's why, even as such a young age, because 4 years ago, Enrique, I had the choice. You know what? I can be on Instagram all day and fake my life and fake how good my life is. I live in Italy and all this stuff. But it's like long-term effect, that doesn't sound good. Long term, I'm just not going to be. So I said, you know what? Short term, I wouldn't just focus on clients' results. And that short term, it's not good. It's really hard because there is no results to that. You're not getting feedback. When you're working on your program, you're making your program better, you're improving your skill set. There is not much feedback. But again, but the long-term effect is huge because you help clients get results. And it's amazing. So I think that's the biggest mistake people make. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't calculate that when they're talking about their future, because it's easy to see the shiny penny right now, right? It's
Yeah.
easy to go after that quick dollar, because and it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it, or how you're going about it. But
Yeah.
that quick dollar doesn't always meet the need later, and anybody that is in wealth management or in wealth building, they'll tell you it's not today, it's tomorrow. We're thinking about tomorrow. So
Mm.
when I'm building this strategy around revenue, and I have a good client base, and I have a great funnel system, that thing is working.
Yeah.
I'm saying no to the right people, right, and yes to the right people. and calculating all these things. What are most people missing when they're talking about their revenue strategy that you see most people missing?
I think lack of intention, the way they shop online. I think that it's costing people more than they think. They think about visibility, they think about getting in front of more people, but they don't understand that what are you trying to accomplish with it in the first place? Lack of intention of what am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to demonstrate? When you don't have clarity around these questions, then your approach will just be like everybody else's. And if you don't stand out, if your approach is like everybody else's, you don't stand out. You don't stand out, you got no chance. That is the biggest mistake when it comes to revenue. Lack of intention and lack of understanding. Oh, here's what I've got to demonstrate. Here's the type of people I want to get in front of. And here's the type of content that will allow me to demonstrate those things. So people want to do business with me. So that is the biggest one. Yeah, I had to think about it because there are many mistakes, but I feel like on top of my mind, that's a big one. Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, and that truly is the top of the heap when you're talking about getting out there
Yeah,
on social platforms, because you can literally expend yourself and do nothing. You can
yeah,
spend hours on videoing a session, uh, creating something on text or the different forms that they have for you to post,
yeah.
and absolutely do nothing. And I'm gonna be one of the people that I'm gonna and I love telling the truth, and that's just the way it is, even if it's about me. uh I spend a lot of time
Mm,
creating content that is um, marketed towards a person that wants to grow in
yeah,
leadership, you
yeah.
know and there was a lot of that bulk of time that I was not getting anything. There was nothing. What it
Mm,
was is me pushing my energy out with nothing coming in,
yeah.
until I figured out that there has to be an intent. I knew the intent, but people didn't know the intent. Eh,
When did that shift happen? I'm just curious. When that shift happened?
when things got hard, how about that? When things really
Yeah,
got hard, where I was not seeing any results,
yeah.
and it hit me. You're not focused. You're
Mm,
trying to touch a lot of things to a lot of people,
yeah.
and that doesn't work. So once I figured out who it was that I was trying to get and trying to reach, you mentioned this earlier, right? Uh,
Mm,
uh, it didn't really work out.
yeah.
And to be honest, had that not happened, I still would have been doing, and I've been on LinkedIn for years, but I haven't been doing video for about the like last 2 years. I
Mm,
still would have not been doing good in the revenue side, had
mm,
I not got to that point.
yep.
But it was just I was trying to hit everybody
Mm,
uh, with my content, and it doesn't work.
that's yeah. And I feel like the reason people, because most people are not aware of it. That's the worst part. You don't know that you're doing it. People think that it's about value. People are in this level of awareness that if I provide value, it's enough. I will get results. And they don't understand that that lacks intention, because if you don't demonstrate, for example, if you don't demonstrate your expertise, you can keep providing value for the next 7 years. If it doesn't demonstrate that you are an expert in your field, the value that you are providing, it's not going to inspire somebody to reach out and work with you, right? So the fact that you believe that people, this is how people think. Most people, Enrique, they think, what idea can I come up with so I can post it online? That's the question. That question lacks a lot of intention, because any idea can be good. Any idea can be interesting. You know what I mean? But when you ask yourself another question, and the question is, what decisions must take place in the prospect's mind for them to want to do business with me? different question, right? Brings different answers. And those answers are going to allow you to be way more intentional and strategic with the content than if what idea can I come up with that it's good enough or that it's interesting enough, right? So there is a difference. And I think that it's the difference of people, how people show up. There is lack of that strategic thinking of what do I need to post for demonstration to take place. Yeah.
And
Mm,
that's so critical. And I thank you because through your post, actually,
yeah.
I've been able to pick out some things that have allowed me to shift a little here and there and maintain that focus throughout so that I
Mm,
can be intentional. And, folks, if you're listening to this show, and I'm going to allow Johnny to take the time here to share how you can reach him. But it's intentionality is almost everything. But Johnny,
mm,
if someone wanted to work with you, wanted to
yeah.
hear your content, wanted to dive in
Mm.
a little more on this strategic planning around revenue, how could they do that?
Go my LinkedIn profile, check my content, and check my feature section of clients, and it will give you a clear idea about how. Because when you see the clients and when they articulate the success, you're going to see how they're thinking and how they're thinking about the results. And it's different than what they were thinking before working together. But it's LinkedIn. I don't have a website, guys. Which is strange nowadays. I don't have a funnel. It's my LinkedIn profile. Now, I've got some messages lately from people, Johnny, but what if LinkedIn disappears? I'm like, it will be fun it will be fun to test myself. I'm like, who cares? Now the platforms, like there's fear. Johnny, what if LinkedIn disappears? It's damn good. Nothing happens. I would like to start from scratch somewhere else. It's going to be fun, to test myself. So I don't like that type of marketing, but it's LinkedIn. Yeah, I gave a long answer there. It's LinkedIn.
No, that's fine. A lot of people have different ways of getting
Yeah,
contacted
yeah,
because they think that a masses will attract more. But sometimes you just got to be focused, right? And you're focused. And I'm a LinkedIn guy as well, and so most people can find me here, although
yeah.
I have other avenues. But folks, if you want to talk to Johnny concerning building a funnel, building your strategy around your revenue, and getting clear on your messages here online, hey, reach out to him. I'll have his information, his link on there to the post and to the YouTube channel post video. But please consider getting intentional, and that, out of all of that, intentionality is one of those things that will make or break
Yeah,
you. Johnny, thank you so much for sharing today with me, this international month, all the way from Italy. I really appreciate you and all that you bring to not only social media but to our world. Thank you.
man, such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I love the work. I've been following you for over a year and a half now, probably more than that. And I don't do live stream, guys. This is probably my third online. And if I say yes to somebody, it means that I really respect and love their work. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
I really appreciate that, and thank you so much. You have a blessed day, everybody out there. Get intentional about your revenue strategy. It'll make a difference.
That's a quote right there.